Dear students, now we are going to discuss appendicular skeleton. The appendicular skeleton consists pectoral girdle, pelvic girdle and the bones of the limbs, I mean the arms and the leg. The pectoral girdle actually made up of the two halves. One half consists one bone which is called the scapula, the other bone is called the clavicle. So first I am going to discuss about the clavicle. This clavicle is also commonly known as the collar bone, and that is present here in the collar region. Collar bone. This collar bone is very prominent in the sense that it has the two curves. There are two curves in this collar bone. One end of the collar bone remain attached to the scapula or articulate with the scapula, while the other end articulate to the sternum or the chest bone of our body. So this is the clavicle. The other, in spite of this clavicle, the pectoral girdle is made of the another bone which is very large in size, that is called the scapula. It has a very expanded region which is triangular in shape. In spite of this triangular scapula, it has an elevated ridge. That elevated ridge make the acromion process. In this scapula there is a cavity, and this cavity is called the glenoid cavity. In this cavity, head of the humerus bone get fit by the ball and socket joint. That joint is present in the shoulder region. Okay, so this is all about the scapula. This bone which is present in the upper arm is called the humerus. The humerus is a very strong and prominent bone. It has a very elongated or the long shaft, and this elongated shaft possesses a triangular ridge which is called the deltoid ridge. So this is the identifying feature of the humerus. It possesses the deltoid ridge. The upper end of this humerus, I mean the proximal end of this humerus, get fit into this glenoid cavity of the scapula. This glenoid cavity of the scapula. So presence of the head without neck is the feature of the humerus. This is the long shaft, and at the distal end or at the below end, it has two condyle which make the elbow joint. Okay, so the humerus bone actually are the bones of the forearm. In our forearm, the two bones are present. One is shorter, the other one is longer. The longer bone is called the ulna. The shorter bone is called the radius. The ulna can be identified the presence of this olecranon process at the proximal end, which is present in the knee region, and that make the olecranon process. And this olecranon process is prominence of elbow. The other bone is ulna, which is shorter and remain present along with the radius. These two bones which are present in my hand actually are the bones of the forearm. These two bones are present in the forearm. One is longer, which is called the ulna. The other one is short, which is called the radius. The ulna can be identified by the presence of this olecranon process that make the eminence of elbow. The other bone is shorter than the ulna is the radius. Okay. This large size bone is called the pelvic girdle. That is the half pelvic girdle, which is also called the innominate bone. So our pelvic girdle actually is present in the two halves. One half is called the innominate bone. This bone actually is made up of the three bones. The one large size bone is called the ilium. This bone is called the ischium. So ilium, ischium, and this lower curved bone is called the pubis. This can also be identified by the presence of the greater and the lesser notches. So this greater notch which is present in the greater sciatic notch is present in the ilium, while the lesser sciatic notch is present in the ischium. the ilium and ischium, they also make a cavity depression which is visible here. It's called the acetabulum. So this acetabulum cavity is the cavity in which head of the femur get fit to make the hip joint. There is a very large hole visible here, is called the obturator, foramen obturator. So presence of the foramen obturator, presence of this acetabulum cavity and this expanded ilium, ischium and pubis, they all are the part of the pelvic girdle. Okay students? The longest bone of our body is the femur, that is hardest bone of the body also, and that can bear the weight of the 800 kg. This thigh bone can easily be identified with the presence of a very prominent head which remain attached to the shaft with the help of this neck. In spite of this head, it has a long shaft. At the distal and the lower end, it has the two condyle which make the knee joint along with the tibia and the patella bones. So this bone is the longest, possesses the long shaft, prominent head and the two condyle at the lower end. Okay. These two bones actually are the bones of the shank region, of the lower leg. These two bones are present in between the knee joint and the ankle joint. The one bone is stronger, thicker, while the other bone is very thin and feeble, hence it is called the fibula. So tibia and fibula bones are present in the shank region. This bigger, thicker, stronger bone, which is called the tibia make joint with the femur in the knee region. The other end make joint with the tarsus in the ankle region. This is very hard, strong bones. In our shank region, it is present in front and medially located. Okay. The other bone is thinner and is called the fibula. It remains along with the tibia and the shank region. It is straight, stick-like structure, stick-like bone. Okay, dear students.